Welcome to Quranomics. I am Qadi Tayyib SD, and today's article is titled, Do We Accept the Sunnah According to the People of Hadith? And it is written by Sameh Askar. Now, if the definition of the Sunnah is everything that has been reported from the Prophet, whether it is saying, deed, or declaring, then it is obligatory to deny it for a number of considerations, including: first, the Sunnah mentioned in the revelation is the Sunnah of God Almighty and not the Sunnah of the Prophet Mohammed. And let me make a little point on this. If we open the Quran and we search in the search box the word Sunnah, all of them, the word Sunnah will go back to God. That means the Sunnah is the Sunnah of God and no one else. And that's very, very important because no human being has the Sunnah. No prophet, nobody. Every word of the Sunnah in the Quran, it goes back to God Almighty. So there's not even one single verse or word that says this, the prophet has a Sunnah. That's number one. Now, number two, the revelation negates the Sunnah of the Prophet Muhammad. That's what I said in the first place, but this is just a second point, just to clear, because each one of these points could open up a whole subject, a whole book. Now, third, what the Prophet Muhammad or other prophets said outside revelation is only in their capacity as human beings, and it is governed by place, time, persons, and it is not appropriate to apply it in our times. 4. What was issued by the Prophet outside revelation may be right or wrong, as he is a human being like you and me. And what was issued by him outside revelation is not religion. Now, 5. God Almighty defined the role of Muhammad with the message, warning, good tidings, testimony, and example. And he did not give him a sunnah, neither he nor the prophets who preceded him. Rather, his role is to teach the believers the book and wisdom. And that's why in the Quran, God gave human beings iswa, a good exemplary. So there's four verses, as I remember, in the Quran. When the word Iswa is mentioned, God will mention human beings, Muhammad, Ibrahim, the people that followed them, and so on and so on. So Iswa belongs to the people, not the Sunnah. Now, number 6, the conversations you said 3 years ago, you may not be able to remember them while you are the owner of it, and it came out of your mouth. And that was 3 years ago, and you said it. It's copyrighted to you, but you cannot remember every word you said. It isn't possible after that. After 200 years, people wrote the Hadith of the Prophet. So how is that possible? And besides the point, no one even expected it. Because they lived for the 200, 250 years, no one expected that after this time, someone will come and say, you know what? Let's collect the hadiths of the Prophet. And then all of a sudden, everybody was scrambling and making up hadith and manufacturing hadith and trying to remember hadith, all that kind of stuff. And that's how it accumulated, as we shall see later on. Now, number 7. One of the first to write the hadith of the Prophet is Malik. And he collected only 600 hadiths out of 10,000 considered false. Now, this is Malik. Then whoever came after him found tens of thousands of so-called hadiths. Then they found hundreds of thousands. Then they found 1,000,000. And it reached that point. Al-Bukhari denied 600,000 false hadiths and accepted only 6,000. Imam Muslim denied some of what Bukhari accepted. And Bukhari denied some of what Imam Muslim accepted. Al-Bukhari and Muslim were unable to deliver one complete Friday sermon by the Prophet, while they were able to convey the secrets of the Prophet's house, sexual details, and family habits. But not one Friday sermon. That just shows the mentality of the people at that time. Imam Ahmad came after them and accepted 30,000 hadiths. Out of 1,000,000 hadiths, only 200 repeated. And the rest are singles on which no belief or jurisprudence is built on. Single hadith means single narration. Nobody else has that same exact copy. However, the majority of the Sunni religion is from the hadith, of the single narrations, not from the mutawatir and not from the Quran. Number 8, the Prophet forbade writing hadiths. Abu Bakr forbade writing the hadith and its narrations. Umar, the caliph after Abu Bakr, forbade writing the hadith and his narrations. Uthman, not so much happened there. Ali forbade writing and narrating hadiths. Hadith spread in the age of strife. That means the coming of the kingdoms of Umayyad and Abbasid era. Now, number 9, the Musnad of Abu Hanifa has 200 hadiths. And Mutawatir al-Darqutni has 200 hadiths. Al-Shafi'i was known to have hadith said that only 400 hadiths were needed for his doctrine, and that still was corrupted anyway. While the people of the Quran say the book of God is suffice. That's what we say. That's it. Nobody, nothing else. Now, number 10, the Sunnah contradicts the Quran in many situations. Number 11, the Quran contains light, remembrance, and details of everything a believer needs. 12, light says freedom of belief, while darkness says to kill whoever changes his religion. Light says, give alms every time you can, as much as you can. Darkness says only 2.5% once a year. Light says about Muhammad that he is of good character. Darkness says that he is a murderer, thief, aggressor, rapist, liar, cuckold, ignorant, not keen on implementing God's commands, and etc., according to the Hadith. Light says about God Almighty, there is nothing like him. Darkness says God is a young man with a body and confined to time and place. Light calls for the oneness of God Almighty, and darkness called for polytheism with God and Muhammad, Abu Bakr, Umar, Ali, and others. Do we accept the Sunnah with the people of Hadith? Me? No. I rejected them long time ago. Kicked them, stamped on them under my shoe, kicked them out of my head. That's it. They're done no more. They're nothing but garbage. So, time to use your brain. It's free. Use it. I am Qadi Tayyib, SD, and this is Quranomics. Thank you for following, and we'll see you again.